Is Saturday night, and I just realized it's really dark in here. But it is time. There we go. That's a little better. It's time for a video on YouTube. So I have another Halloween card for you. We'll just be sure that I'm transmitillating. Let me get over here and do something. Put my hand in the screen. There we go. It looks like I am actually up. Hey, Rosie, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. And I appreciate your design consulting yesterday as I was having a total brain block about a few things on this card. Okay, so this is our card, and we use two bundles. First off is the Bewitching bundle. You might recall it's the one that has the witch's hats and the witch hat builder bundled with it. Very cute and cute little feet that we're not going to use today, but we are going to use the spider and the stars. And of course the hats, and then of course the Cottage Wreaths set, which is wonderful. And it is kind of cross holiday. It covers Halloween, it covers Thanksgiving, it covers Christmas. And actually, if you just use Some People Just Make Life Better, it could be an everyday card project bundle. So whatever works for you, this is a great set to have in your arsenal. Hey, Kathy and Kim and Marva and Karen and Angie and Marilee and Brooke and Julie and Nancy. Hey guys, I appreciate y'all coming. Okie doke. So I'm going to tell you, I made this card and I created it using a slightly different process. And I'm going to try to change that up because I didn't like how I did it. It just didn't make any sense to me. And so we're going to try something different. So if it all goes awry, then, well, you know, it's awry and it's a thing. But in some sort of directions are going to be on tomorrow's blog, I promise. So you don't even need to take notes. So this is what we're aiming at, is a card front that looks like this. And what I did with this one, different than this was my experiment. I put the DSP onto a piece of basic white, and then I cut everything down. And I'm going to try that again, but I'm going to use black as the backer board, if you will. I really like it, but I will trust you, and I can't wait for your update card. Oh, well, it's going to look the same. It's just going to get there a little differently, a way that I think is going to make me happier and hopefully you guys happy as well. So stick with me. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have a piece of basic black. Actually, I have 3 pieces of basic black, but we're going to use one of them. And then I have some of the Gingham Cottage DSP. Now, this piece is 3 5/8 tall by 3 7/8 wide, and it's the final size. The second piece I have cut to bigger than I need because I want to put my washi tape on here and then cut it down to size. All right, it just makes it easier to get a nice straight edge if I trim it with my paper trimmer. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. Let's do a little bit of weaving, and this weave is sort of like you would make a lattice on an apple pie, which don't be thinking I know how to do that, because I totally don't, but I've seen pictures, and so I think that's how this is. Okie doke. So what I'm gonna do is I've got some of the glitter washi tape, and it comes in Highland Heather. You get all 4 pieces: Highland Heather, basic black, old olive, and pumpkin pie. Okay, and we're going to just use the Highland Heather and the basic black. And so what I did is I took this piece of diagonally plaidified paper from Gingham Cottage, and I just took my, I used my deluxe foam mat. You could also use a silicone sheet if you want, if and wanted to. And what I'm going to do is I am going to lay the washi across and just let it adhere to the foam mat. Now, this deluxe foam mat with the grid on it, this is a slick surface. So in theory, you can pick it up. Now, let me just tell you a little something about washi tape. Washi tape, for all of its movability and repositionability, you can tear your DSP pretty darn straight up. Okay, so you have to be a little bit careful. Hey, Glenda. But we're going to be careful, and that's not going to happen. So what I'm doing is I'm just going one direction with this, with the Highland Heather, like so. And then I'm going to take the black, and I'm going to weave it the other direction, and I'm going to go over and under, okay? Like a lattice, like I said. So just pick a way to start. Let's see, let's go this way. There we go. And I'm going to start with this one under and then this one over. So I'm just going to pick this edge up like so. And then I can lay that down and lay the washi over the top. Okay, the next one I'm going to start with this one over. So I'm going to go like so. And then I'm going to pick this end up and lay it down kind of straight. Now, this is not hard. It's a little persnickety and you need to take your time, but it's not hard. Anybody, if I can make this, I promise you can. And let's see, this needs to go over like so. I went wrong. And I can tell you, it'll make your eyes blur. It came in little, it'll make your eyes blur. Just saying. Okay, so then the next one is going to start with the black under and then over. Let me lay that down. And using the deluxe foam mat really does make it a lot easier to work. I can assure you, if you try this on a piece of grid paper, you won't like it. It won't be fun. All right, we're trying to keep it kind of straight, and then this is going to go over like so. And then let's see, this is it started under. I'm going to start under here. Okay, like so. And there's a distinct possibility that it won't be exactly perfect, but it's a pie. No, it's not a pie. It's a piece of cardstock. Okay, so you can kind of get the gist of what I'm doing here. And then we'll go under, over, and off. Okay, so I've got my washi tape lattice. Yes, this is for the Stamp-N-Lingers, okay? So it's the deluxe foam mat. If you look in your catalog, it's on the Stamp-N-Lingers page because it's an accessory for that. But I'm using it not in the Stamp-N-Lingers. And then you can kind of pick this up like so. Oh, see that washi? It'll come off. You just got to position it. Okay, we're going to give it a nice little push. And then I'm going to take my scissors, this can go away, my paper snips, and I'm going to do an initial cut. I'm going right up against the edge just to get it so that I have a straight edge when I get it in my paper trimmer. This was the part I didn't like how I did the first one because I didn't get a good cut and it was kind of uneven and scraggly looking and I didn't like it. So this was my modification to my process. And you will have all of these little washi tape pieces all over the place. You may find one later in places you don't want washi tape pieces. Just saying. Just saying. Karen, you have to buy the deluxe foam mat. I do not believe comes with the Stamp-N-Lingers. It's an accessory you can get in addition to what comes with it. And the thing that's deluxe about it is it's got the grid on it. So it's really just a foam mat, just like the one that you probably already have for the Stamp-N-Lingers. But instead of being black here, it's got the pre-printed grid. And it's slick so that you can get ink and things like that off of it. Okay. You cannot get Sharpie off of it very well, which I used to mark where I was putting cardstock, which is fine. Okay, so there's that. Now, this piece wants to be, what have I got going here? Let's pick that up. This piece wants to be 1.5 inches tall by 3 7/8. So I'm going to pull out my paper trimmer. And I'm just going to, I'm pretty happy with all of my cuts, but what I'm going to do, this starts as 4 inches. I want it down to 3 7/8. So I'm just going to cut like a 1/16th of an inch off each edge. So it's 3 7/8 inch long, like so. And then I'm going to do the same going the other direction. This started at 1 5/8, so I'm just going to take like a 1/16th of an inch off of each edge. Okay, you guys tracking so far? Yeah? Thinking so far? Yeah? All right, so then we're going to turn the other direction. Had to lose the sweater. And what I wanted 1 1/2. Okay, so there we go. Oop, that doesn't look right at all. Don't do that, Mary. Let's do 1.5, not 1.25. That's going to make a huge difference, just saying. All right, so there we go. Let's get that piece off. Now, here's the next piece. When I use washi tape across a card front, let me show you. If I mat this right here, these two pieces on my actual mat, this little piece right here, and then I put the washi tape around it, I either have to cut it perfectly to get it straight, or I have to wrap it around, and that means it extends. Some folks, that probably is okay, but it bugs me. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. It bugs me. So what I did is I took a piece of basic black cardstock, and this is 4 inches by 5.25, which is too big. I've got my bottom piece, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere it with some liquid glue. Now here's the part where I may screw this up, okay? Just saying. I'm just saying, this is the part I may screw it up. Trust me when I tell you, this is the most engineering intensive part of this card. Once we get this made, the rest of it is easy peasy cake. Okay, so now this piece, I'm going to adhere with just a little gap between the top and bottom panels, like that. You can see that the black reveal is about the same all the way around. Yes, you see that? See, it's about the same all the way around. Then I'm going to take my Highland Heather washi tape, and I'm going to go across. Now, what I would like to do is I line it up with my grid paper, and then wherever the top of the washi is, I try to make it straight across there and go from one line to the other, okay? That way I have a nice straight line. Like that. Okay. And then I'm just going to cut that off and cut this off. And then out comes the paper trimmer again. Give that a nice hard push. All right, one more trim, and then we can really just make a card, okay? So to trim this off, we're really going to take that black edge off, right? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put this edge at 3 7/8. Like so. And then I'm going to put this that edge again at 3 7/8. Okay. Then I'm going to take the top edge and I'm going to put it at 5 1/8. And here's the beauty of using the basic black as your backer versus white. Because I'm using a black mat, if it's not exactly perfect, it's not gonna matter. But if it's white, you can really see when it's a problem. Okay? So now what I have done is I have created a card front that I am going to mat on a piece of basic black, like so, with liquid glue. All right, so a little bit complicated, it seems like, right? But it's not. It's just not, I promise. But it achieved all of my goals. It made my top straight, and it kept that washi tape from wrapping over the card mat, and that would have just driven me batty. It would have driven me so batty. Okay, so now let's go ahead and decorate the card. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to move that washi tape because it'll make a little bump right where I want to stamp, sure as shooting. We're going to make a wreath, and I'm going to start by stamping the wreath. Now, you guys remember, did you happen to see Amy's presentation on Saturday? When you open your stamp set up here, there you go. If that doesn't bother you, just slap it on. That works. You see these little doohas right here? Those are their register marks, okay? So if you have your initially, when you first open your stamp set and you put your little doohas down, if you get everything lined up so you can see how it goes, like so, then what I did is I put a mark where that register was, okay, with a Sharpie. I did the same on the little twiggy doohas, okay? And is it perfectly exact? No, it isn't exact. It could be, but it's not. But what that does is if I say, okay, when I stamped the initial wreath, I put the little dot at 12 o'clock. Well, when I stamp over it, I want to put the other little dot at 12 o'clock as well. That lines those wreaths up. And then if I was cutting it out with its die, I would put this little tab dooha at 12 o'clock. So the only thing you have to remember once you make your marks is where you put it when you stamped it on the piece of cardstock. Does that make sense? Okay, sure. All right, so we're going to start with a crushed curry wreath. And I'm going to put the register at 12 o'clock. And then I'm going to clean it up. And we're going to add a pumpkin pie wreath right over the top. And instead of, I'm not going to line the registers up. So here's where it was to start with. So to make it a little more full, I'm just going to twist it just a little bit. So like I'm going to put the register at about 1 o'clock. Okay. Like so. So there you have a crushed curry and a pumpkin pie wreath, and it looks very full because you did the partial twist technique. Okay. Now we're going to stamp. Hi, Victoria. Appreciate you joining. We're going to stamp that twig stamp in basic black because it's Halloween. It's Halloween. And I'm going to go ahead and put my register right up at 12 o'clock. Okay. Like so. And then I'm going to take the largest stylish shapes wreath. No, this is a stylish shaped circle. And I'm going to cut it out. So hang tight. I'll be right back. All right, so this is a Halloween card. And I was playing along with the Global Design Project Theme Challenge, which is why I did a Halloween card. Because I told you a few weeks ago that I was done with Halloween cards. It was over. We were done. But apparently I kind of lied. So let's go ahead and adhere this with some liquid glue. Right about there. Okay. And while that sits and thinks about what it's done, I'm going to get my piece of white cardstock, and we're going to stamp a couple of thingies, a couple of doohickeys. Like we're going to stamp and punch out a hat, and we're going to do that in tuxedo black. Now, when you're looking at your stamp, at your punch, think about where you want to put your stamp. I may have gone a little too low. Yeah, I'm going to need another piece of paper. Let's use this one. You want to think about where, if you put the hat in the wrong place, you're going to have to do a whole bunch of cutting, which you may have to do anyway, but who cares? But if you think about where you want to stamp your hat first, you'll be at least a little closer. That's just my tip to you. You're welcome. I'm going to get this good and inked up, and then we're going to put it in the corner like that. And while I have my tuxedo black out, I'm going to stamp the little spider guy. Oh, except I don't want him in black. No, no, no. This is one of the rare Highland Heather Dracula vampire spiders. Okay. Oh, no. Nobody likes it? Aw, I'm so sorry about that. Where is my Highland Heather? That's an excellent question. Oh, I put it back. One has to wonder why. Alrighty, so I'm going to stamp Mr. I don't know if you noticed, but he's got like little Dracula fangs. Did you notice that on him? He's so cute. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp him over here just in case I screwed that up. I'm going to hold it down a little bit, make sure I get a good image, and I did. And then one more thing before I start punching, I'm going to take the sentiment from Cottage Wreaths, and I'm going to stamp it in Tuxedo Black. Right there. Okay, side. Okay. Now, this little guy is going to punch. Actually, let's color him first. So I have my blends, my pumpkin pie Stampin' blends. And I'm going to start with the light. Remember, Tuxedo Black, like so many of the dark colors, takes an extra little minute or two to dry. So you want to give it a little time to do that. And then I still would probably not scrub over the top of it for a minute, just because it stays sneakily. It's kind of sneaky. It'll stay sneakily wet and make you think it's dry, and it's not. And then you rub your blend over it, and it goes every which way from Sunday. And that's never fun. Nobody likes that. All right, so we're just going to flood this with pumpkin pie. It doesn't really matter. I went into that band, but it doesn't matter because we're going to do a hat band on it. It's going to be purple because she's a styling girl. This is a stylish witch. She wants to be scary, but she's too busy trying to look fine to be too scary. Okay, so once that's done, we're going to pull out the... Hey, Peggy, appreciate you coming. Thanks, Faith, appreciate it. He is a cute spider. I'm going to bring out the dark one, and I'm just going to pull a little dark right up against the spider web all the way around, just giving it a little depth. Like that. This is pretty technical. I don't know. It may be more than you can handle because it's very, very artistic. Said Mary Never, because she is really not a blends artist. And then we're going to blend it with the light again. Really all you're trying to do is just get a little bit of, hey, there's something there. It's obviously a spider web, because hello, spider web. Alrighty. Now, the next part might frighten you a little bit. But I mean, it was a scary theme, okay? So it needed to be a little scary. So I'm going to do a little fussy cutting. Now, if this terrifies you, go get a snack. It won't take me very long, but look away. I don't want to hurt you or terrorize you or trigger you in any way. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, we'll start out easy. We're just going to cut out the sentiment. Whew, pretty basic here. Not too scary. Just like that. The hardest part of that one is making sure I don't lose it. Now, the spider, he's a little more of a challenge. You might need to hold your tongue just right, but don't be too scared, even though it is supposed to be scary. And I'm just going to kind of do a rough fussy cut around. One of the nice things about the fact that I've stamped everything and I'm using a white background for the wreath is that because he's also on a white background, it'll kind of all blend in, and you won't even, you won't be able to go, oh my gosh, that was the world's worst fussy cutting job, Mary. What were you thinking? Also remember when you're fussy cutting to push your paper right up into the fulcrum of the scissors and turn the paper, not the scissors. Can you see how my left hand is turning the paper? Okay. And these little ones, the tricky part is finding a place to hold them, right? So that wasn't too scary. You can look again now. If you were protecting yourself from that horror, you can look now. Okay. So there he is. We're going to put him up here with the sentiment, which I'm certain I'll be able to find in just a few minutes when I need it. And then we'll go ahead and punch out. Hey, Peggy. Oh, thank you, Karen. We're going to go ahead and punch out this hat. And you're just going to line it up with about the same reveal all the way around inside the punched area. That looks pretty good. But you see, you get the same grace here with that as we did with the Fussy Cut Spider, because you're against a white background. Important thing to remember. Okay, one more thing before I put my punch away. I've got the stars from the Bewitching stamp set, and I'm stamping them in Tuxedo Black on a piece of Highland Heather cardstock. Okay. Yeah, Karen. Well, you know what? Halloween will come next week. Next week. It will come next year, so it won't be wasted for you. Okay. Let's go ahead and we're going to use, this is the band, the hat band punch right there, and I'm just going to try to get as many stars in it as I can, and then we'll punch that out. Okay. Now, let's assemblize. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some black dimensionals. Sure, they're there. Now, I've used minis, but it's because it's what I've got the most of right now, so you can use whatever. If I had large ones, I'd be using cut in half ones, but I would use the black. Just seems right with this card. So we're going to pop this onto the card front as a wreath decor. It's a wreath decor. Because, yeah, you might do that. All right, and we're going to put him right there, like so. And then some more of those minis. We're going to put them behind the hat band. They're just about perfect for the hat band. Okay. And we'll pop that on. And then I have a little bit of decoration like a fascinator. I told you she was a stylish little witch. So now she's got to have a fascinator on. I just made that up. I don't even know what that is. Well, I do because I watched a few royal weddings, like who hasn't. Alrighty, now I've cut out a couple of little things. These are from the Country Wreaths, which is the bundled set with Cottage Wreaths. So I've got two basic black leafies, and I'm going to adhere them with a little bit of liquid glue. Little bit of liquid glue right here, maybe. When you have left your liquid glue open just a few minutes too long, you get a nice little coating that you can just pull off with your fingers. There we go. You only need a dab. We're going to put that right there. I'm pretty sure that's where a fascinator would go. I don't know. I saw they've done a reboot of that movie Hocus Pocus. Did you see that original one? I think it had Bette Midler and then two other women, comedian type people who were funny, but I can't remember who exactly. But it's funny. That was a funny movie. I enjoyed it. Now, I'm going to show you a little trick. This bow is this die from Country Wreaths, and I cut it from a piece of the white glimmer paper. Not this one, obviously. This was wreaths or leaves. This comes in the red and white glimmer paper pack that's in the mini. But I don't want white. I want Highland Heather. So here's a little trick. Okay, I'm going to take my light Highland Heather Stampin' blend, and I'm going to color the glimmer paper. Now, I will tell you, don't scrub really hard, okay? Because it's kind of an abrasive surface, and you're gonna, put a little heart on your blend tip if you get too carried away. If you happen to have an older one of these and you're replacing them anyway, use the older one. It really won't damage your tip, but you have to be a little careful. Use a little care. Take a little care. I think that's a song, but I don't know from where. Maybe it's not. So I'm going to color like that, and then I'm going to use my dark one. Thank you, Lynn. I'm going to use the dark blend to just kind of gently highlight the embossed lines in it that give it its definition, like that. Okay. And in a fit of efficiency, while I have my blend out, I'm going to color two. I've already got one, so I don't need to do a second one. I'm going to do two of the classic matte dots, the white ones with the dark Highland Heather blend. Okay. And then let's see, I'm going to do one with the dark, a larger one. And let's see, I think I need another pack. Yeah, here's a large one. A large one with the dark pumpkin pie. Okay, you can color all of these with any of the blends, but you do want to give it a second to dry. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and pop this little guy on with some liquid glue. There we go. And she's so stylish. She is rocking this hat. I mean, she is really rocking this hat. All right, you could also use a glue dot there if that makes you feel any better. Now, let me show you what we're going to do with this little spider guy. Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet. I'm going to take a black mini glue dot whilst uncovering another one. I'm going to put it right in the center of the spider itself, and I'm going to adhere it with that, and I'm going to tuck this up under the hat tip. There's no adhesive on it. You don't need any. I promise. Okay? It'll be just fine right there. And then I'm going to put a couple of those same dimensionals, getting a lot of use out of my black dimensionals, on the back of my little fussy cut sentiment. And what I did want to do before I do this is take my Highland Heather's Stampin' Right marker, and I'm just going to give that a little edge, just to give it a little extra something, something. You can skip this part if you want, but remember who I am. I just went through 17 steps to not have washi tape going over my mat, so, you know, take that for what you will. So we're going to put this little guy right here. Now, remember those Highland Heather mats? I'm going to pick them up, not mats, matte dots that I colored. Well, come on now. Come on now. I'm going to put them right in the middle of the O's, like little eyeballs staring at that spider. Boo. And then I'm going to take that pumpkin pie dot, and I'm going to, come here now, going to put it right in the middle of the bow. And that is our card front, like that. So we will quick like a bunny do the inside and a envelope, which I did not create a piece of DSP for, but I will in 1/2 of a moment. 1/2 of one moment. All right. So on the inside, very, very simple. Very, very quick. Aw, thanks, Julie. I'm going to take that, just the twigs. That's all we're going to use. It's just the twigs. And we're going to do in Tuxedo Black, and I'm just going to put it down here in the corner. And I'll do the same with the corner of my basic white medium envelope. Okay, put that aside. And then we're going to stamp our little vampire spider again. A vampire spider. Oh, man, Halloween birthdays. That's perfect. Yeah. Oh, that is not what I wanted to do right there. I wanted my spider. Get him inked up. And then he's just going to be hanging down here like that. I'm just holding it to get a good ink transfer. Okay, we'll put that aside. Pull out our inner liner. and repeat. Rinse and repeat. All right. And there we go. So we'll put this away before I have an ink catastrophe of some sort. Good Lord, I also didn't even get a card base out. What a dork. I'm batting 1,000 today, ladies and gents. Batting 1,000. Which I mean to say, batting nothing. All right, so let me grab a quick Highland Heather card base. Be patient with me, people. Be patient. Please be patient. Well, alrighty. You guys know I'm usually better prepared than this. I have no excuse other than I was changing up my process at the very last second. So I'm going to use a Highland Heather card base, scored and folded like so. And let's see, where's my bone folder? Give it a nice burnish, and then we'll put that on the inside. Get that out of the way. That was destined to get all over my card. Did you see that? And there, see, on this card, the little washi tape pieces become like Stampin' dimensional covers. They're every freaking where. They go everywhere. But it's worth it. I think it's so cute. I don't use a lot of washi tape, but I really like that sparkly tape from the mini catalog. It's cute. It's bitty, bitty cute. It's a bitty, bitty cute. And then we'll get our card front and do some mini dimensionales of the black variety. I think it's so cool that we have black dimensionals. I like black dimensionals, especially when I'm, doing black cardstock. That way people can go, how did they raise those up and turn it on its side? And they can't see them. They're like invisible. Just like invisible. And I'm going a little long today, guys. I'm so sorry. It was that complicated engineering I did on my card front. Might have gone faster if I'd done it, like if that was my second or third time to do it. I don't know. All right, there we go. I love orange, black, and purple. I didn't know I loved orange, black, and purple for Halloween until I tried it and saw a couple of samples in the catalog. But I do. I totally do. All right, now we're going to put some of that big plaid on the envelope flap. And that will be that. We will be done-ske, done-ske. Done-ske, done-ske, done-ske. I love this plaid. Gingham Cottage is the coolest DSP pack. It's huge. I think there's like 40 sheets or something in it. 48 sheets. I mean, that is a lot of cardstock. I mean, you may choke a little bit when you see the price. It's a little higher price than the others, but it's a lot of paper. And it's very useful for long periods because it's got red and green and the oranges and blacks, and then many of them on the back side are black and white, so you can use that all year long. All right, guys, there you go. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I appreciate you giving me an extra 8 minutes of your night. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you on Thursday for my Facebook Live. Y'all have a great day. Thanks. Ta.